I'm always interested to hear stories about people before maybe they landed full-time deals. I remember earlier on in the NWA TNA days, you worked Trinity a couple of times. Uh, can you tell me maybe who reached out to you for that and what those experiences were like before you were there as a member of the Beautiful People?
So once again, it was just the Ontario indie scene. A lot of us were driving down from Toronto to Nashville to be at those shows because it was another, at that time, I feel like, ECW had already shut down. I think WCW had too. So yeah, it was kind of just like WWE was running the world, right? So then here comes this TNA, and it was an opening for a lot of us, and it was a drive that we could all do. So like a lot of us would do that, like Sin Bodie and me and Tracy Brooks and Eric Young, like a bunch of us would just carpool down to Nashville. We'd pay our own way, pay our own hotels, pay gas, whatever, just to be there, just to be seen. That's how a lot of us got into TNA. Is we were driving 12 hours there, staying for maybe 2-3 days and then coming back as often as we could just to be seen.
So when you get the call to come back, I think it was just not long after that you ended up working her. I think you worked Explosion, and then you worked another match with her on Impact. Am I remembering that right?
I only remember the Explosion match, and I only remember because it was 45 seconds long.
Well, and I remember in the second one, I think I even found it online. Like she hits you with a 619, like some things that I didn't even remember Trinity doing. Yeah.
Oh wow, I have no recollection of that. I'd have to see it. I remember the Explosion match. I had the braids, and I remember it was like the first time in a 6-sided ring, and I had no idea. Like my ring geography was so whack because it was 6-sided, and I was like, wait a minute, I need to find a focal point to know where I am. But I mean, like I just got squashed in 45 seconds. Like it was barely even a match. It was an opportunity, of course. At the time, I was like, oh gosh, how old would I have been? 22.
Yeah.
21.
I think it was 2000,
21,
2004. Yeah.
So 2004. I would have been, yes, I would have been about 23 because I got hired by WWE right at the very, very end of 2004. So, oh yeah, it was just all about the opportunity. But I mean, I just got my ass beat. It wasn't even really a match.
When you worked there, was the ring an adjustment? I know for a lot of people, the 6-sided ring caused some issues. Ropes are tighter. It's a little bit harder. You got to run a little bit different.
The ropes. Oh my God, the ropes. Couldn't even move the ropes. It was like for any woman that had to hit the ropes, it was just like trying to bounce off a brick wall. But for the guys, it worked because, like lots of springboard, lucha, X Division kind of stuff, AJ Styles, Amazing Red, all that kind of stuff. So to them, it worked. But for us, like, I mean, I don't know if you've ever noticed, like when Velvet and I would do our entrance, when we would sit on the rope to let the other one in the ring, like the rope didn't move.
Yeah.
Like when we sat on it, it didn't like sag at all because they were pulled so tight. So it was interesting because it's like, a 6-sided ring is different, and you do get used to it. Like after a while, it's like, you just got to figure out what are the good corners to be in and what are the good camera angles, like what ropes to hit give you the best angles, which side is the dead spot, where that doesn't really happen in a 4-sided ring, But that it was painful because like there was more steel in the bottom of the ring and the ropes were pulled tighter and just everything was tighter because there was 2 extra sides to the ring. So for us and, being women in our smaller bodies, like everything was a lot more painful.
What is there anything else that you remember? Like, how did you approach Trinity backstage or vice versa as you all were maybe talking over the match? What was that experience like?
No idea. I would not remember. I probably just found out about that match that day because I was there. They used me. I for sure was super nervous. She was cool, and she was like, TNA at the time really, made her a big deal. So, but like I said, it was 45 seconds. Like it was probably 3 minutes total, but that also included 2 entrances and then, her victory stuff afterwards. So
was there any feedback that you remember getting from that? Because like you mentioned, you were in WWE Developmental shortly thereafter.
Yeah, no. I if I did get any feedback, I truly do not remember.